Dear reader, I trust this letter finds you in good spirits. Though, knowing Mapleton as I do, there's a fair chance it finds you in the heart of scandal. Gather round as I regale you with a tale that once had every soul in our quaint little town whispering over their pie slices at Clara's Bakery on Main Street. Yes, we're talking about the infamous 1955 Pastry Heist, a scandal so delectable it could make your grandmother's secret recipe for pie crust seem stale. Picture it. The summer sun was blazing down on Mapleton, a tiny speck of a town nestled between rolling hills and surrounded by thick apple orchards. The air was sweet with the aroma of fresh-baked pastries, wafting from Clara's beloved bakery, a local institution since the war. Clara Thompson, the jolly proprietress, was as well known for her raspberry tarts as she was for her sharp tongue and even sharper memories of the townsfolk's secrets. It all began when a selection of her famed éclairs mysteriously vanished one fateful Tuesday, the day of the annual Mapleton Fair. Clara, bless her heart, was convinced that one of her neighbors must have taken them as revenge for that unflattering pie bake-off, a notorious event where she publicly claimed the mayor's wife had the culinary skills of a rock. The intrigue became so thick, you could cut it with one of Clara's bread knives. From Agnes McKinley, the gossip queen, to Billy Thornton, the wild kid with a penchant for mischief, everyone was a suspect. But the plot thickened. It was discovered that the missing éclairs were not just a petty theft. They had been swapped with something much more scandalous, a hidden stash of secret town documents allegedly pertaining to illegal moonshining operations. Yes, dear reader, you heard that right. The bakery had unwittingly become the epicenter of a web of deceit stretching across Mapleton, entangling our good citizens in a tale of crime and pastry like none other. As the days wore on, whispers turned to shouts. Clara, in her determined style, declared a town meeting to uncover the pastry pilferer and the moonshine ring, convinced that the culprit was hiding in plain sight. Little did she know, the answers were closer to home than anyone could have ever imagined. And with that, the stage was set for what was to be the most uproarious and alarming summer of our lives, as Mapleton found itself plunged into a showdown of sweet treats and bitter truths. Stay tuned, dear friends, for I have only just begun to peel back the layers of this delectable debacle. Who would emerge victorious in the great pastry heist? You won't want to miss the sweet conclusion. Yours conspiratorially, M. Sweetwood. As Clara rallied the townspeople at the community hall, the atmosphere buzzed with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Faces aglow with candlelight reflected years of hidden tensions and unspoken rivalries. Once innocent conversations morphed into confrontations, a harmless pastry theft now felt like a full-blown crime ring. The air crackled with anticipation as Clara stood at the podium, her apron dusted with flour and resolve. "Enough is enough," she bellowed, her voice booming. "We will get to the bottom of this. I want to know who dared sully my bakery, my home, and our fair town." Gasps filled the room, and it became clear that this was about more than éclairs. It was a reckoning long overdue. As Clara began to call suspects to the front, the first was Agnes McKinley, a woman whose sweet smile never quite reached her eyes. "Agnes, you've been at a few too many of the town's late-night gatherings. Any secrets to spill?" The room held its collective breath. Agnes's face slackened, and a sly grin broke through. "Perhaps the moonshiners bought some éclairs for their business meetings, dear Clara." A ripple of laughter erupted, lighter than the tension that filled the air moments ago. But Clara wasn't fooled. She moved on to Billy Thornton, who had long held the coveted title of the town's biggest troublemaker. "Billy, I wouldn't put it past you to snatch a few for your friends." With a nonchalant shrug, he shot back. "Nah, ma'am. Those too good éclairs are best left to the professionals. My pals wouldn't know a pastry from a pancake." Clara narrowed her eyes. Had he inadvertently uncovered a lead? It was the quietest townsfolk, however, who surprised all. During the meeting, a timid hand shot up from the back. Clara?" stammered Sadie Jenkins, the shy librarian. "What if we looked at the deliveries? I overheard Charlie from the general store mentioning something odd about an order." The room fell silent. Insights often overlooked shed light on the unfolding mystery. As the investigation took shape, the missing documents implicated not just everyday people, but the very fabric of Mapleton itself. legislators with a penchant for moonshine, families woven tightly in secret alliances. The lines between good and bad began to blur dangerously. The next week became a whirl of late-night stakeouts and early-morning brainstorming over coffee and pastries aplenty. Every suspect turned citizen played their hand, and there were times I feared the resolution could shatter friendships etched over generations. But with Clara leading the charge, fueled by righteous indignation and an occasional slice of a frail apple pie, the townsfolk banded together, uncovering truths hidden beneath layers of powdered sugar and frosting. Ultimately, the true heist was not of pastries, but of trust shattered through half-truths and contempt. When the dust settled after weeks of tension, Clara stood proud, her bakery once again the heart of the community. She turned the scandal into a tale of resilience and unity, baking a celebratory pastry to commemorate the summer of intrigue that had taken place. So what can you take away from this delicious saga of Mapleton? While trouble might arise from the most unexpected of places, whether it's an éclair theft or the lurking shadows of unspoken histories, the heart of a community beats strongest when torn. The echoes of laughter and whispered secrets are what we cherish and ultimately what we must protect. Dear readers, let this be a reminder. Sometimes a slice of sweet pie shared with those you trust can heal the bitterest wounds. And remember, nothing is quite what it seems, especially in the world of pastries. Yours in conspiratorial camaraderie, M. Sweetwood.